Welcome to Brave New History. Today we're diving into one of history's most incredible stories, the origins of Christianity. Christianity didn't begin as a single unified movement. It was a battlefield of ideas, competing sects, and radical interpretations. The version we know today, that's just the one that survived. But what if the earliest followers of Jesus had a completely different understanding of who he was? What if Jesus himself wasn't who we think he was? Most scholars agree. The historical Jesus was a Jewish apocalyptic preacher, one of many. He spoke in parables, gathered followers, and clashed with religious authorities. But was he unique, or just another prophet in a long line of would-be messiahs? That brings us to John the Baptist, a fiery preacher leading a movement of repentance, baptizing his followers in the Jordan River, warning of God's imminent judgment. And then, Jesus arrives. But he doesn't perform miracles. He doesn't declare himself the Son of God. He submits to John's baptism. If Jesus was divine, why would he need to be baptized? The answer: he probably saw himself as John's disciple. Some scholars even suggest that Jesus took over John's movement after John was executed. If that's true, then Jesus wasn't a revolutionary starting something new. He was continuing a movement that already existed, one that saw the world as broken, corrupt, and about to be overturned by divine justice. But here's the thing: not all of Jesus' followers saw him the same way. And this is where things get interesting. The Ebionites, one of the earliest known Christian sects, believed Jesus wasn't divine at all. He was a man, a prophet chosen by God, a Jewish teacher who came to restore the law of Moses. They rejected the Apostle Paul, claiming he had hijacked Jesus' teachings. To the Ebionites, Jesus wasn't a sacrifice for sins, he was a moral teacher, and his followers were meant to follow Jewish law. And then you have the Simonians, followers of Simon Magus, a figure demonized by early Christian writers as the first great heretic. According to them, Jesus wasn't even a real person. He was a spiritual being, or maybe just a symbol. And the real Christ, that was Simon himself. Some even claimed he performed miracles and rose from the dead himself. As Christianity evolved, these groups were declared heretical. The Ebionites faded into obscurity. The Simonians were condemned as frauds. And the version of Christianity that survived, the one that saw Jesus as both fully human and fully divine, won the ideological war. But here's the question: if history had played out differently, would Christianity as we know it even exist? If the Ebionites had won, would Jesus be remembered as a Jewish reformer, not a god? If the Simonians had prevailed, would Jesus have been nothing more than a myth, overshadowed by Simon Magus? History isn't just what happened, it's what survived. And the story we've been told, that's only one version. The others may have been erased, but if you listen closely, you can still hear them whispering.